Contour lines are lines that follow the visible edges of a shape as well as those along interior shapes. You can think of contour lines as outlines or edge lines. Here's an example of both a leaf and a hand drawn with contour lines. This column right here are using external contours only. That means it's only the outside or external edges. It's kind of like if you were to draw the shadow of this leaf. Now this column on the right is the external and internal contours. So we've got all the edges on the inside as well. So looking at that leaf again, right here would be that internal contour line. And then same thing with the hand, you can now see the fingers bending inside and the main creases in the hand. Notice how there is no shading because contour lines do not have any shading. It is just the edge of an object. There are different types of contour lines. The first one we'll talk about is continuous contour line. When you create a contour drawing with one continuous line, you never lift your drawing utensil until your image is complete. So if this was where the drawing started, they loop around, they're never lifting their pencil or pen or marker, whatever they're using the entire time. And they loop around to create that fingernail. They make these little loops to create those wrinkles in the hand. And then sometimes, like over here, they have to double back on where they've gone before because they cannot lift up their pencil or whatever they're drawing with. A blind contour line is when you create a contour line drawing, but you're only looking at the subject you're drawing, never at your paper. So if you were drawing a person, like these images are suggesting, you would only look at the person you're drawing. You would never look down at your paper. This helps us train to get used to looking at what we're drawing and actually paying attention to all those real details that are there, instead of just assuming we know what something looks like and drawing what we think it looks like in our mind. With blind contour line, don't get too worried if your drawing does not look like the actual object when you look at your paper at the end. This is more just to build that skill of looking at what you're drawing. Here's some examples of famous artists who have done contour drawings before. Lots of good artists will use this technique just to build up that skill of drawing. Even painters, like Henri Matisse, who's most well known for painting, will do drawings because that is the basis of a decent painting, is to have that drawing skill beforehand. It also gets you warmed up for creating those types of lines and shapes. This is Egon Schiele. He is pretty well known for his line drawings and his paintings, but if we look here, we see really nice line drawings, all very carefully done. There's really no shading. You will see some areas where there's heavily marked up areas where it kind of starts to look like there would be a shadow, but we're still mostly focusing on those edges of objects, edges of lines, any deep wrinkles, all those curves. And here's some more Egon Schiele drawings. And notice how they don't have to be exactly perfect. Each of these artists have kind of taken on their own style. So when you're doing contour drawings, you're really just paying attention to what lines are really there. And here's a drawing by David Hockney. And you'll notice in his, there is some shading in here. So this one isn't a true contour drawing since there is some shading, but I wanted to show you what some artists have done as an actual art piece, even though it's not a true contour line. And here's some more from David Hockney. Some portraits of people, some full body ones. And you can see that with a contour drawing, things look a little bit flat. You can still see some depth. You can kind of understand that this woman's legs are a little closer to you than her head is. So you see a little bit of depth, but overall, it's a pretty flat render of something that you would see, rather than shading it in where you see a lot of depth and three-dimensional. This is sort of what your project will look like. This semester we are not going to do color in the background, and you only have to do 2 shoes. But you will have to draw your shoes from different perspectives so that you can get practice from looking at an object from different angles and getting an idea of what that object looks like from the real point of view, not just what you think it looks like. And for more details on the criteria for the Contour Shoes project, you'll have to click on the Contour Shoes assignment in Canvas. And then there will also be a tutorial video on how to do each of those 3 types of contour drawings in Canvas as well.